Hello, my lovelies. It has been so long since I've chatted with y'all. I took a little break from the podcast, navigating some of the biggest transitions of my life. I moved from New Zealand. I'm finally in Australia with Luke, a long 4 years in the making. If you guys don't know, Luke and I, my partner, were long distance, going back and forth from Australia to the United States for the last 4 years. So to be in sacred ground together and just be together, it feels so good. But navigating a lot of deep grief and healing as well. Less than 24 hours after landing in Australia, my dad suddenly passed away. It was very unexpected, very shocking. There is a lot of deep layers there that we can talk about in a different episode. But I'm beyond excited to be back in this space. I was putting together this reading and I was like, oh, I feel my personality coming back, because this is just medicine for me to share with you in this way. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please listen to the whole episode. Everything that's shared in here is important and connected. I know you have busy lives. We'll keep this short. I'm also beyond excited to invite you to join the waitlist for Talking to Spirit. It is the most powerful and sacred thing that the divine has ever channeled through me. With the recent passing of my father, there was something that just moved me deeply, and it sparked this new wave of creativity, of sharing, of healing within my own life. And it inspired me to create a space specifically for light workers, soul seekers, those who are grieving, or anyone that's curious about what rests beyond the veil. Talking to Spirit is essentially a sanctuary where you can connect deeply with your entire spirit team. You'll learn exactly how to start talking to Spirit. I've done over 1,000 readings, and one of the things that I hear all the time is, well, what do I say? How do I connect with my guides? How do I connect with my past loved ones? How do I talk to them? What does that look like? I feel like this will be a very medicinal experience for a lot of you. So you can fully tap into your intuition, so you can feel held and supported by your soul's support council in every area of your everyday life. It is a self-led experience, but it will help you awaken and strengthen your intuitive gifts so you can hear Spirit's guidance clearly. You'll build a grounded, beautiful relationship with your entire spirit team, archangels, angels, past loved ones, the universe, God, source itself. You'll learn to recognize and decode signs, symbols, synchronicities, animal spirit guides, energetic messages. It'll help you navigate grief, your own personal soul contracts, any big life transitions with a lot more grace and acceptance and flow. It'll also help you clear energetic blocks and strengthen your energetic boundaries in your everyday life. And it'll help you activate your throat chakra. So you can use your voice, use your breath, use writing, use your body as a channel for Spirit to speak through you and to you. So if this tickles your soul, join the waitlist, because everyone that's on my waitlist is going to receive early access and sacred savings on lifetime enrollment. So you'll get an exclusive invite sent directly to your email, and I don't want you to miss out on that. I'm so excited to see many of you in that powerful portal. But let's get into the reading today. So we have a full moon in Capricorn, July 10th, July 11th. Oh my goodness, I'm feeling the energy. Capricorn is the final earth sign of the zodiac, and it's ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the guardian of karma, of time, of boundaries, responsibility, discipline, mastery, legacy. And Saturn doesn't fuck around. It doesn't make you comfortable. Oftentimes, Saturn is very uncomfortable, but it ignites this discomfort to reshape you. Saturn is essentially a wise elder that challenges you. It asks you, are you walking your talk? Are you showing up with integrity? Are you committed to your evolution? Or are you just talking about it? It's also a sign where the moon feels challenged, but it can bring so much transformation to your life. So I'm curious to know, what do you feel is shifting in your life? Comment on the episode. I would love to know. I always love reading all of your feedback. I love knowing what's going on in your life, and I find it really interesting. A lot of times we are all walking very similar paths that just look a little bit differently. Capricorn is also the archetype of the elder, the mountain goat, the wise one, this sacred guide. It is the summit where you claim your authority and you commit to the long game. Capricorn doesn't always see success overnight. It's a slower moving energy. It asks you to trust what you are building and that you will reap the rewards over time, because Saturn itself, Saturn is like daddy energy. What you reap, you sow. Saturn delivers blessings. So, like for all of you who have experienced your Saturn return, I'm in the midst of my Saturn return. Literally within the first 2 weeks of my Saturn return, I moved away from New Zealand. I went through a lot of health stuff. I moved to Australia. My dad died, right? My whole world just kind of flipped. I stopped doing one-on-one readings because I just felt like it's time for me to take a break from that, to step back from that. And it can feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort will bless you in the long run. Allowing yourself to take a step back and be in the void will lead you to beautiful, beautiful blessings. This full moon in particular is here to ignite truth. It's here to steady your heart, clear your mind. If you have felt scattered, there's a beautiful sense of grounding that comes through on this full moon. You might feel pulled towards making changes, simplifying, taking more accountability in your life, because with Capricorn being so deeply connected to Saturn, the work that you do now will pay off. So it's kind of like what you give, you receive. So just keep that in mind. If you've been shortcutting yourself, not very dedicated to your rituals, to your practices, a bit out of alignment, like that's the energy that you're calling in. So it's a very direct energy of, hi, honey, if you want your life to change, you're going to have to start doing things differently. Capricorn doesn't sugarcoat. The energy is honest. It asks you to get honest about where you're outsourcing your power, where you are cutting yourself short, where you're staying small, where you're over giving, where you're still performing instead of being radically honest and truthful with yourself, with your life, with your work. In the tarot, Capricorn is linked to devil energy, the devil card in the tarot. And no, this isn't evil. It's about shining light and truth on the illusions, the programming, the mentality that's keeping you stuck. It is asking you to let go of the story that you have to keep proving yourself. It's asking you to stop continually abandoning yourself. It's asking you to let go of the belief that rest makes you lazy. It asks you to trust the flow of life. And the devil really shows you the places where you've handed over your power, often without us even realizing it. So under this full moon, the chains that you hold yourself in, the prison that you hold yourself in becomes much more obvious. And if you guys like my readings, you can also read them on Substack. I know many of you, most of you like to listen. I'm a listener, love that, but I also love to read. So you can always read my readings on Substack. They have most everything that I share here within the Substack reading. So if that tickles your spirit, you can check that out, and I will link it below for you, of course. But I want to talk a little bit about the devil card, the symbolism of the devil, and then share some messages of spirit before I go into the rest of what's coming up here. But like I said, Capricorn is linked to the devil, and the devil is the archetype of karma and liberation. The devil is about keeping ourselves stuck in the chains, in the prison. The chains are often self-imposed. The devil represents addiction, attachment, fear, the illusions that keep us trapped. It's the part of us, you, that buys into the stories of, I'm not good enough, I need to prove myself, who's going to want my offerings, I can't break free, I can't leave, I can't change. But the twist is that the devil isn't an enemy. It isn't evil. It's never anything outside of you. The devil is a reflection of the shadow within. It's the stuff that you're denying, ignoring, that you're afraid to face. It calls you to own your shadow, to take responsibility for your life, your mindset, your patterns. And that's deeply intertwined with the Capricorn energy, right? Because Capricorn is about radical accountability. It's about taking your power back. It's about cutting through the bullshit and becoming very, very honest with yourself. So when this energy shows up, you're being called to ask yourself, where am I giving my power away? What fears and habits are keeping me stuck? What illusions am I being called to see through? Ultimately, the devil is a really beautiful card. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's about liberation and bringing truth and awareness into your life to break you out of the prison. And once you recognize the chains, once you recognize the way that you're keeping yourself stuck, you realize that you're actually holding the keys to break them. It's kind of a tough love energy, but with purpose. And freedom lies in owning your truth and your choices. I love the devil card. I'm never afraid when it shows up in a reading. I'm just like, all right, it's kind of like a tough love. I'm going to call you out. I'm going to make you a little bit uncomfortable, but it's always with purpose. It's always with purpose. So when Capricorn meets the devil, it's time to see through your own bullshit. It's time to see through the illusion, to recognize that true freedom doesn't come from escaping your humanity, but by integrating it with consciousness, with the power of your free will, with choice. Again, what chains are you ready to break? What stories are you ready to dissolve? What illusions are you ready to dissolve? The devil teaches you that when you reclaim your sovereignty, when you own your free will, there's nothing outside of you that can control you. I feel that ties into very much of what came out directly from spirit and the oracle and tarot messages that I'll share here right now, since these two energies are so connected and aligned. The oracle cards that came out here are self-love and will. Self-love immediately, that that gave me this energy of, what are you comparing yourself to? Or I feel like comparison is a diversion from truth, and spirit is calling you right now to love yourself deeper, to honor yourself more, to respect your sovereignty, your boundaries, your truth. This gives me major solar plexus energy. So rebirth of the solar plexus, asked to concentrate on the solar plexus. I feel that so deeply for my own life. I have a huge new project coming out into the world, and I know that I wouldn't have been called to create it for no reason, but anytime that we do something big, new, it can be kind of uncomfortable. Like, well, is anyone gonna enroll? Even though that's not what it's about. But there's just this natural self-doubt when we are about to level up, because it's uncomfortable, it's new. It's like a foreign energy. So there's this ask to kind of pull back into your solar plexus, to ask yourself the questions that we have discussed here in the reading. And I feel there's a calling to be seen in your truth. Like, no matter what, your truth is the most powerful magnetic currency. Your authenticity is the most powerful currency. So, like, fuck what anyone thinks, fuck what the results are. Do you, and live in alignment with that. Own that. One of the greatest gifts that we have on this earth is free will. Our power to discern, to choose, to intend where we want to place our energy, how we want to show up in the world. So, kind of going back to this devil card about, where do I keep myself powerless? Where do I keep myself in prison? Where do I keep myself stuck? This devil energy, this ask to be honest about where you're keeping yourself trapped, powerless, and stuck. It's very much connected to the solar plexus, because that's a solar plexus wound. So pay attention to your solar plexus. Spirit is calling you to get clear about where you are still giving away your power. And like I said, this is very much linked to the devil energy that Capricorn brings, asking you to be radically honest about where you are keeping yourself stuck, how you are keeping yourself in the prison. And Spirit is here to remind you that you have this free will, this power to love yourself more deeply and to break yourself free. We all right now are being called to return to a greater truth. It's little orb in my video that I'm recording as I say that. That is so cool. I love that. When I've been recording the Talking to Spirit videos, not everyone, but the ones where it's really important, I'm having wild like spirit orbs and things show up in the videos. And so it's been really fun to look back and notice all of that. Going back you are being invited to step into the next version of yourself. The world is crumbling with the purpose to birth a more truthful, aligned, harmonious, supportive world for the collective, for all of us. Spirit also wants you to be reminded that you're not here to prove yourself to anyone. You're here to embody what's true for you, as long as it's rooted in love and truth, right? If you want support with clearing your solar plexus and aligning with the energy of Capricorn, listen to some 417 hertz or 396 hertz frequencies. That helps clear stagnant energy. Remember, we are beings of frequency. Everyone on the planet here is made up of frequency, and tuning into these frequencies can be a really easy way to help dissolve some of the stagnation, the blocks within our bodies. And so 417, 396, those are going to help ground your root chakra and anchor your mind, your body, and your spirit. And while you're listening to those, I would empower you to even visualize white light around you. I call this the bubbling method. I talk about this in Talking to Spirit. In the spiritual hygiene and energetic hygiene section, I teach about how to bubble your energy, how to protect your energy. And so you can do so by visualizing this like beautiful white light surrounding you. Visualization is a really powerful tool to also help us lift and shift our frequency and vibration. So protect your energy as you release what no longer serves you. This is a huge releasing full moon. Reminder that you're not stuck in the past. You're literally standing in the gateway to your future. Now, Nine of Swords, Three of Wands reversed, Nine of Wands came out here in the tarot. The Nine of Swords shows that there is, that you're carrying heavy mental weight, that there's worry, anxiety, maybe even sleepless nights or spinning stories. You're spinning stories that aren't even real. It's mental to me because swords are connected to the mind, air sign, air energy, that there's a lot of like mental imprisonment that's happening right now. And I get it. I know that the world is fucking whack and that you might feel a little bit down, that you might not feel as powerful, vibrant, magnetic right now with the state of the world, but you also have free will, you have sovereignty, you have power over managing how you go about your days, managing how you think, managing your vibration, your energy, your frequency. So it's time to call yourself out and to release the mental prison you've built. The reverse Three of Wands says that you might be feeling stuck, you might be feeling frustrated, you might be worried, you might feel like your plans aren't moving, or there's like this impatience or fear of what's next, and that is holding you back. But the Nine of Wands coming in, that's all about growth. That's saying growth is still happening beneath the surface, even if you can't see it yet. There is this ask to have radical faith beyond what you can see. The Nine of Wands reminds you that even if you're tired, even if you're exhausted, even if you're worried, you're still standing and you do have strength. You do have the strength within you to keep going on your own terms with the power of your own free will. So this full moon is asking you to face your fears, to clear out what no longer serves you, to protect your energy with firm boundaries. You're being called to love yourself deeper, to honor your sovereignty, to stop giving your power away, to listen to the signs, use healing frequencies to clear stagnant energy, move your fucking body. It's the fastest way to shift your vibration. Visualize white light holding you steady. Whether you feel it or not, you are so deeply held by so many beings beyond the veil. You're not stuck. You're standing at the gateway to your future. You're preparing to step into the next version of yourself that is rooted in clarity and self-devotion. And my love, that is so beautiful. Capricorn is an earth sign. So we have the spirit of earth coming in strongly this full moon, reminding us that stability, grounding, devotion to self is so important. Earth teaches us to trust the sacredness of its cycles. And I keep seeing cracks in the foundation. So you might be addressing or being called to address where you're needing to fix the foundation of your life, if that makes sense. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to focus on the root. It's okay to go back to the basics. Earth doesn't rush transformation. Earth flows with the cyclical, seasonal nature of life. It roots into place and it grows over time. And things that you plant now are going to grow over time for your benefit. Capricorn, slow moving energy. It takes time, but the blessings will always be there in the end. So let the spirit of earth remind you that you don't need to do more. You need to slow down. You can stand steady and still be evolving. You can rest and still be worthy. You can pause and still be in alignment with your path. You can move at your own pace and still be in alignment with your soul's growth. The Capricorn full moon is a time to also honor your resilience, to recognize how far you've come, to celebrate. Full moons are about celebration. They're about reflecting on the ways that we have grown, to reflect on the structures, whether internal or external, that have supported you thus far, to give grace and gratitude for what no longer wants to exist kind of in your structure and your foundation, to lovingly let that go, even if it's hard, even if it's heavy. There's this beautiful anchoring that I feel for the collective energy that, yes, things might be going, things might be growing, things might be moving slower than you would like, but still, it's all happening in divine time. Now, the shadow energy of Capricorn, something important to note. Full moons are portals of illumination, yes, but they're also sacred mirrors for the shadow. And the shadow aspect of Capricorn might show up as really harsh self-judgment, being addicted to work, suppressing our emotions, being kind of cynical, feeling like you're not doing enough. And Spirit was supporting that message, right, by bringing out that self-love oracle card here. But Capricorn has this tendency to harden, to become so focused on success, work, control, responsibility that they lose touch. It loses touch with the heart, which with the feelings, with humanity. So the full moon here is also a call or an invitation to soften the armor around your heart, to hold space for the parts of you that might be hard to look at, but both the shadow and the light are worthy of love. Capricorn, in her highest timeline, I know that Capricorn can feel very masculine because of Saturn, Daddy Saturn, but Earth and water signs are feminine. And even though Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the sign itself is yin in polarity. It's actually more internally focused. It's focused on the steady. It's focused on the slow growth. It's focused on being receptive. When Capricorn is operating in its highest timeline, she is the elder who leads with quiet strength. She tends to her mission and her heart equally. She is the architect who builds what is lasting, what is sustainable. She's this earth priestess who understands that real success is rooted in devotion, truth, authenticity, not performance. She is the divine elder who remembers that her worth is not conditional, is not performative, doesn't need any type of validation. I also feel like a questioning energy. So you might find yourself questioning where you belong under this moon, reflecting on friendships, communities, collaborations, your presence in the world, the impact that you want to have in the world. And this isn't random. This is really a call to clarify what is aligned, what is not, what is ready to be redefined, what is my vision for the future. So I do feel like there's going to be some clarity, some realizations, maybe even some harsh truths about the spaces and connections that drain you, and a time to celebrate those that nourish you. And these insights are not punishments, they're invitations to come home to yourself, to honor yourself, to put yourself first. In numerology, the Capricorn full moon is an 8 number. It carries the vibration of 8, which is about power, mastery, abundance, karma, personal empowerment, and material success. It also speaks to the balance of giving and receiving, the natural law of karma, and feeling empowered through our own self-discipline and devotion. Number 8 aligns perfectly with Capricorn's energy because Capricorn is focused on structure, leadership, responsibility, building something that is lasting, leaving a legacy. This full moon is a clear reminder that the effort and the discipline that you invest now will yield strong, tangible results. And it's also an invitation to find balance between your inner world and your outer ambitions, encouraging you to honor both the doing and the being. Now, I cannot continue this reading without noting a very important astrological transit that has happened. Uranus moved into Gemini. And it's going to stay here until May 2033. So the last time Uranus shifted signs was back in 2018. Take a moment to just think about what was happening for you back then, what changes were being stirred up or reimagined. This could give you some clues about what's coming next. And wherever Gemini sits in your birth chart is where you're going to experience a personal revolution over the next 7 years. For me, I have a Gemini moon, and our moon sign is how we express ourselves. It's about our emotions, about our intuition. And for me, I really feel like my voice is coming back online in a more aligned and powerful way. And I needed to take a step back to become more clear, to become more grounded, to allow myself to pivot and rebirth. And I really am feeling this Uranus transit. When Uranus is in Gemini, for us, we're stepping into a time of big shifts around how we think, how we communicate, how we connect with each other. Because Gemini is all about language. It's about ideas. It's about technology. It's about learning. It's about travel. So you can expect huge breakthroughs and things in those realms, in those categories. And I feel like we're going to see a lot of innovation over the next 7 years. And there's going to continue to be massive social movements and shifts in our culture and our society about how we operate. We're going to see people speaking truth even more, using their voices to stand up, chills, for what is and is not right. There's going to be this collective hunger for fresh perspectives, for new ways of being, and curiosity, learning, innovation. All these things are only growing. They're going to be at an all-time high. So stay adaptable, stay open-minded, try not to get stuck in the darkness. I mean, there are dark forces in the world that want you to feel like, oh my God, I can't see past what is happening. And your most powerful thing you can possibly do as a light worker is to hold the light and is to hold the vision. So a little reminder there. Shadow side though of Uranus and Gemini is that there's going to be a lot of stimulation that could feel like information overload, that could feel like mental burnout, that could feel like you having much more polarized conversations, thoughts, beliefs. So it's going to be important to stay grounded, to trust your intuition, and to use your discernment, what you know in your heart and soul is true. Uranus and Gemini doesn't fuck around. It's here to shake things up. It's here to invite us to think in totally new ways about how we learn, how we connect, and how we evolve together. If you're bleeding with this moon, you are a red moon witch. You embody a red moon witch archetype. This is the archetype of transformation, of alchemy, of medicine, of healing ancestral lines, being the healer for others. A red moon witch is a healer, is the shaman, is the teacher, is the medicine woman. Ask yourself right now, if you're bleeding, what am I ready to put to rest? Who am I ready to forgive? What burdens am I no longer willing to carry? What am I being called to share, to teach, to alchemize? What medicine and gifts do I have to share with the world? I created a whole free guide that, of course, is linked in this reading to help you uncover the intuitive gifts of your moon cycle. When you bleed is very important and highlights what season of life you are in, and it amplifies certain gifts that you have. So check that out if you want to learn more about the mystical meaning of your bleed, your gifts, and your power. And to wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with some reflection for the Capricorn full moon. When Capricorn is activated by the full moon, you're being asked, what am I building? And is this going to last? Is this in alignment with my truth? Where do I need more structure and commitment? What responsibilities are truly mine, and what do I need to let go of? Are my foundations strong, or am I building on shaky ground? Where have I been compromising my truth to belong? What does self-responsibility mean to me? What does self-devotion mean to me? What am I building that is worthy of my devotion? What am I ready to complete, release, or transform? And what vision am I wanting to birth into the world? My loves, let this full moon be your return to your discipline, to your truth, to your sovereignty, to your clarity. You know your way home. You can unlock my free guide. You can join Unfuck Your Intuition if you want to dive deep, deep, deep and into your intuitive gifts. Listeners can use code MAGIC to get 50% off lifetime access. And of course, join the waitlist if you want early access and sacred savings to Talking to Spirit, a portal to connect with those beyond the veil. I love you. I've loved talking to you. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next one.